Welcome to the Millionaires mini-series with your hosts Stephanie Keith and Stacey Failing, here to set you up with the most luxurious version of yourself. This podcast is filled with wealthy women vibes and a sneak peek into the millionaire's lifestyle. Whether your inner millionaire's dreams of taking private jets to deserted islands or you prefer the lighter side of luxury, we have an opportunity for you that is priceless.
Come join us as we share with you all of our juicy money secrets, mindset hacks, and so much more. Money may not buy happiness, but it can provide you with an abundant life beyond your wildest dreams. So turn up the volume, adjust your crown, and get ready to embrace your inner millionairess.
Hey everyone, and welcome to the Millionaires Mindset podcast. Stacey and I have a fun announcement that we've been working on for a while, and it's finally here. We're so excited. We are introducing the Millionaire's Mommy Method, which this is going to be a self-paced course over 6 weeks where you get the entire framework of our Millionaire's Method that we go through in the mastermind. But you can do it on your own time. I know a lot of people wanted to join the mastermind and couldn't make the live calls. So this is a great way to go through it and get everything you need to start manifesting money so that you can live that lifestyle of freedom. You can be home with your kids and not have to be frugal or cut back, because I do believe you can have both. I was able to create that for myself. Stacey has done the same, leaving her day job this year. And now we just want to help other people do that because it absolutely is possible. And it all starts with your mindset. Your mindset is 80% of it. And we're going to walk you through every step of the way in this program. So you can get all the details by going to the link in the show notes. And we hope to see you inside.
Yes.
So today, Stacey and I want to dive into a topic that makes a lot of people feel uncomfortable, but we want to share a new perspective on it. And that is the D word, debt. So Stacey, I feel like it's a dirty word. Like no one wants to ever say debt or talk about it. And it just gives you that feeling like of dread. You know what I mean?
I do. Yeah. And it's so true is because we are taught that debt is bad and nobody wants to be in debt. You know, you hear a lot of people saying, that they want to pay cash for things and they don't want to have bills. And, student loan debt's like one of the first things that people want to get paid off. And it's understandable because it does have that overhanging overwhelm, that you have this outstanding balance that's due. And it is a good feeling when you pay it off. But the thing is that debt can be a really valuable tool when it comes to building wealth. And it's just learning how to use debt in your favor and not necessarily, maxing out all of your credit and, doing all the bad things that we hear about a lot. But it's taking that debt and the credit that's available to you to use it to your advantage to build your wealth.
Yeah, I think the first time I looked at this differently was when I read that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where he talks about this and how debt, we're taught through traditional, just parenting and schooling and in society that debt is bad. And I mean, I remember all the time, both of my parents would say, you buy a house and you pay it off. Like before you do anything, pay off your house. And I just had it so ingrained that like, I have to pay off my house. And when I did, and like, you should never rent because that's just like flushing money down the toilet, basically. That's how I was raised. And I remember when I did buy my first house, I just always felt anxious. And I was like, well, I have to work my butt off because I have to get this house paid off. And it wasn't until I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where I was like, this is so backwards. Like it's not this big, scary thing. Like having that debt is actually giving me like leverage to use. So for example, when we moved to Florida and I started shifting my money mindset and I decided, you know what, I don't want to wait another 20 years to have my dream pool that I've wanted since I was 8 years old. I want to buy it now. I was able to do that. I was able to leverage the debt to asset and get a home equity loan to get a pool. And I did end up paying the pool off because I didn't want that particular debt. But when I started looking at my house and thought, okay, maybe I should pay it off, I got a 3% interest rate. Like that's like nothing. That's like basically free money. So I'm like, I would much rather take that money and invest it in, a secure, um, like S&P 500 or something like that and make 8% or 10% over time rather than, pay off this 3% debt. So you know what I mean? It's like you have to look at things a little bit different. And my parents, I told my dad that I had a long conversation with him. I'm like, remember when you like always told me I had to pay my house off? And he was like, yeah, but Stephanie, when we bought our house, the interest rate was like 13%. So he's like, that's why it was so important to us to pay the house off. But he's like, yeah, if you got 3%, no, like that's great. Just pay your mortgage and like you don't have to pay it off. Like take that extra money and put it in the stock market. So
Yeah.
it's just like looking at things from a different lens and seeing that it's not necessarily as scary as we were taught. That makes sense.
It does. And it's all about making your money work for you. And that's funny because when we started to dabble in real estate investing, and I know that is like such a buzz right now, but it really is one of the ways, and not the only way, but a very profitable way to get a great return on your investment. And when we started to dig into that, that was the first book that we read, and it just does. So here's just a pointer. Anybody that is thinking that debt is bad and they want to shift their perspective, that's a great book by Robert Kiyosaki to pick up and just read and open your mind to a different perspective on how you look at debt. But it's so true. And it's all about your plan and like, what are you doing with this money? So you have this credit. And like you said, if you can get this amazing rate, but with the intention of you're going to pay it off sooner, then you're not going to just pay the minimum balance, and there's going to be some sort of return of investment on your money. And one of the perspectives that I like to, I mean, it just kind of opened my eyes, was that a lot of billionaires will just use credit. They don't even use their own assets. And a lot of them don't even have assets. So like, this is just kind of a rabbit hole on how like the rich people get tax breaks and all the things, is because they invest their money in things that aren't assets, like real estate, where they get all those breaks because they've used credit to give them something that's going to give them a return on their investment, but then they don't have to pay tax on that because it's not technically income. And so I don't know how much stuff you know about like the real estate world, but if you follow people like Grant Cardone, and they're swimming in wealth, but they are using their credit to their advantage by just continuing to use that they don't even use their own money. They just use credit, and they use smart ways to pay it off, to transfer balances so that they have those lower interest rates and things like that. And it really is kind of like the secret that nobody really talks about when it comes to that. So if you can figure out those loopholes, there is a really good way to be able to use debt in your favor.
Yeah, I remember when Reese Witherspoon started her own company, like making all those, I think it's called Hello Sunshine, and she just sold it for like a ton of money. But I remember her talking about it, and she was like, yeah, I went around, I was asking all my friends in Hollywood, and every single person that, had done that same type of thing told her, do not use your own money. Never use your own money. You go out and you use other people's money, which is
Mhm.
basically accumulating this debt. But that is what they do. And you're right, it is like this secret that no one talks about, which I think is so crazy, that we don't have like any financial literacy in our schooling. And it's pretty crazy. But I think the big part about that is shifting your mindset, because I know, Stacey, for you and I both, when we were able to start shifting our money mindset, that's when all of these things kind of became apparent to us. It's like we expanded our mindset, and now we're able to see all of these things that always existed, but we just never paid attention to them, or we didn't think they were possible. And it's like this light bulb went off, and now we see all this stuff. And so that's the power of shifting your mindset and manifesting money, is you just start seeing things everywhere you go. Like there's so many opportunities for abundance. And again, like something like debt goes from being this big, scary, really uncomfortable thing to being almost a necessity to, grow wealth So these are just some of the types of things that happen when you go through the millionaires framework is you start shifting and you start seeing possibility, and then you start seeing opportunity, and then you have the confidence to take action, and it literally changes the course of your whole life. And I mean, it's unfortunate that we weren't taught this, in school or by our parents, but it's not too late to learn it now. Like you can take the driver's seat in your life and you can determine like I'm not going to let this scare me anymore. I'm going to learn whatever I can on it and shift my mindset. And once you do that, it changes the course of your whole life, but it's all got to start with that mindset and those beliefs and reprogramming those, and then the opportunity and the abundance can flow in.
Yeah, it's like the law of attraction just working at its finest is when you start to see those things, you start to recognize all the possibilities and the resources. So, we just threw a book title at you that you may have never heard before. And that's an opportunity to expand your knowledge on that. And so you're going to start to see these things coming into your life that now, because you have changed your mindset, you're aware of those things. And it might be a person that walks into your life that has a conversation with you about debt, or maybe you'll get an email notification from your credit union that says, hey, low interest rates, apply now, or, whatever. And now you're going to start to pay attention to those things. And that's just how the law of attraction works. And when, like Steph said, you shift your mindset, and your mindset is that 80% of everything. And it's just something that we talk a lot about. And it's not just, things like debt and finances, but it's the limiting beliefs and the things that we were taught about money in general. And that includes debt, that we just break down in our mastermind, because it's something that if you can't shift your mindset, you're going to stay in that stuck pattern. And there are no, like you said, that we don't get taught this in school. So we really have to kind of pave our own path with this. And a good place to start is just to open your mind to other ways of doing life, other ways of spending money, other ways to create money in your life. That, we're so stuck in this hustle culture and working 9 to 5 and having to, build up a business that is for somebody else and not for yourself, and having to be stuck there. That's just one mindset. And unfortunately, that's the mindset that we are taught. So when we when we go through this framework, we really do break those patterns and help you learn another way.
Yep. There's unlimited possibilities available to you. And it's literally changing your story. It's saying, you know what, this story that I've been living for this long really isn't serving me, and it's keeping me stuck in a limited financial situation. And so I'm going to shift it, and I'm going to start choosing to look at it from the perspective of the wealthiest version of me and step into that now. And so now is the best time to sign up for this, because, we're launching this program. We're very excited about it. Like I said, you do it at your own pace, and it's 90% off. So it is a great time to get in and start learning this and start shifting your mindset. And like I said, the mindset is the majority of it. So you're going to go through this 6-week program and just start looking at the whole world differently. And then it's like all of these opportunities start showing up. And it's things that you may have never noticed before and things that you never would have acted on before. But now you're empowered to do that. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, again, we'll link that in the show notes. And we hope to help as many people as possible step into this next level mindset and manifest wealth in their life. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you back here next time.